Um, I'm Jim Nelson. This is an essay I wrote a couple of years ago. I'd like to read for you today. Ask me a favorite movie moment, and I'll tell you a scene from It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Before this morning, I would have told it like this. Phil Silvers and Jonathan Winters are passengers in a private prop plane, and the hired pilot has conked out. Silvers convinces Winters to take the wheel. How hard can it be? Just put your hands there and your feet there. Now keep it steady while I go in the back and fix up an old-fashioned, just like Granddad used to make. Winters fumbles with the yoke. What if something goes wrong? Silvers shrugs and grins, mugging a little for the camera. What could go wrong with an old-fashioned? It's pure early 60s Tinseltown comedy. The stock situation, the over-the-top response, the now passé drinking humor, and Phil, king of chutzpah, Silvers, playing a shyster shtick nowhere to be seen in today's Hollywood. On top of that, he breaks the fourth wall in a manner as old-fashioned as the cocktail he's about to prepare. All that's missing is a Don Knotts double take and someone getting trapped in a Murphy bed, both to be found elsewhere in the flick, of course. One problem, the scene is completely wrong. I've had it wrong for years now. I rewatched Mad Mad World last night, finishing the second half this morning. It's a long movie. Here's how the scene really goes down. Buddy Hackett and Mickey Rooney are in a private prop plane that Jim Backus is piloting. Backus finishes his old-fashioned and tells Rooney to make him another, this time not so sweet. Rooney suggests that maybe 2 drinks are enough. Backus dismisses this and orders Hackett to fly the plane while he goes to the galley to make his old-fashioned the way dear old Dad used to. Hackett fumbles with the yoke. What if something happens? Backus replies in his upper crust voice, chin jutting out, what could happen to an old-fashioned? As the cockpit scene started, I said to myself, wait, this isn't it. When do Phil Silvers and Jonathan Winters charter a plane? When Jim Backus is drinking old-fashions, I thought, this must foreshadow a scene to follow, as though Mad Mad World is some French New Wave masterpiece and not a crazy quilt of vaudeville gags, farce, and one-liners. It's a pretty serious lapse on my part. I confused all the actors and the details of the situation. Backus conks out after the exchange when Hackett starts whipsawing the plane to and fro. The last time I saw the movie was the late 1980s. I think I invented elements because those elements made so much more sense. Phil Silvers is the best cast actor of the whole film. Yes, even over Spencer Tracy, because his shtick is so attuned to the movie's cold worldview. It's his con man personality, his P.T. Barnum patter, that verbally corners his victims into submission. He's a natural fit for Mad Mad World's winner-take-all tale of all-American greed. Silvers and Winters are at each other's throats throughout the movie, so I paired them in the cockpit. Not that Backus wasn't suited for the scene, or that Hackett in his Play-Doh face was a poor substitution for Winters' thick-as-a-brick truck driver, but the pair I imagined seemed so much better. My most serious lapse was to goof the setup and the punchline. What if something happens turned into, what if something goes wrong? What could happen to an old-fashioned became, what could go wrong with an old-fashioned? If you're telling a joke and you botch the setup and the punchline, you've failed. The joke's not dead on arrival, it's a miscarriage. And yet, whenever I told my version, people laughed. After rewatching Mad Mad World, I came to the conclusion that there's a reason people laughed. My version is better. A quote attributed to Ed Wynn. A comedian is not someone who says funny things. A comedian is someone who says things funny. That distinction is vital. So vital, in fact, I think that distinction should be taught in every creative writing class out there. The twist is, it is being taught, even if instructors don't know it. Some might even deny it. Wynn's observation is that a comedian takes great care in selecting his words because the right language can make a joke great, just as the right language creates great stories and great poetry. Poor decisions not only rob the joke of its humor, they can even make the joke not a joke. "Take my wife, please," may not carry as much water as it once did, but "will someone get my wife the hell out of here" is simply Neanderthal crudity. A fiction writer with any interest in humor should consider the craft of funny. A fiction writer with no interest in humor should probably consider another pursuit. Jokes are the original microfiction, the first short shorts. At their best, they're Western imitations of Zen koans, but when told right, both hands are clapping. The best jokes have a sturdiness to them, a similar sturdiness I find in great literature. Great jokes leak humor. It pours out from them in all directions. Often the blunt force of a joke's initial contact, that impact that yields the first laugh, often lay in a single phrase or even a word. From there, the rest of the laughs arrive when the full implication of the punchline descends. Rectum, damn near killed him, is demolished when a novice repeats it as, rectum, he almost died. Here's my latest favorite joke. How many Freudians does it take to change a light bulb? 2. One to screw in the bulb, and the other to hold my penis. My mother, the latter. Freud may be a genius, but his work forever linked his family name to screwing, dicks, and overweening matriarchy. Mrs. Freud must be so proud. I admit it, I've thought a lot about the words penis and mother in this joke. What's interesting is what's left out of the joke. Addition can be subtractive with fiction and humor. So, how many Freudians does it take to change a light bulb? 2. One to change the bulb, and the other to hold my penis. I mean my mom, no, the latter. The funny is still there, but the unnecessary I mean and no still the delivery and ruin the impression of beating back the id. The formal mother delivers a sense of matriarchal authority that mom lacks. Think how completely derailed this joke would be if dick was used in the place of penis. And don't overlook the loaded meaning of the word screw. And that's why I prefer my cocktail debate over Mad Mad Worlds. What could happen to an old-fashioned, fits Bacchus's old money alcoholic because it places his primary concern with the well-being of the cocktail, but it doesn't align with Hackett's question, what if something happens? Bacchus should think Hackett is referring to the preparation of the drink, not the drink itself. The gag gets laughs because drunk pilots are always played for laughs. The scene's humor lies outside language and the character's subjective reality. My version isn't colossally superior, but it succeeds because Phil Silver's answer lines up with Winter's what if something goes wrong? Cocktails solve problems, ergo, what could go wrong with an old-fashioned? His answer invites the audience into the best private club in the world, the exclusive club of people in on the joke. That is, the imaginary audience that never saw the joke that only existed in my head until now. Thank you.